Welcome, Amakhosi Network. Welcome to the channel. Kaizer Chiefs battered Super Sport 4-0. That score could have easily been 7, but also maybe not even 7-0. Maybe it could have been like 7-2, 7-3, maybe. But yeah, we'll chat about that. And today we're doing player ratings and we continue to chat about the game. But before we get into that, please like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah! But anyway, let's do this. Guys, Kaizer Chiefs had a good game. It wasn't a perfect game. We have to be honest with ourselves. 4-0 sometimes makes people go hlanya. Sometimes we have to be honest with ourselves and say the first half was very bad. Our players couldn't think their ways out of the very negative Super Sport football. So that was a thing. But let me do quick player ratings, then we continue chatting about the game, because I want to highlight the importance of what the Super Sport game meant, and that the Super Sport we play today will not be the Super Sport that we're going to be playing later on this week. And there's a reason for that. But let's get into it. Ntwari, I'm going to give a 7.5. He did save us in a lot of times in this game, in his saves that he made, from Abo Rapport to about Tashik Morris and stuff. Luckily for Ntwari, let me actually give him a 7. Luckily for Ntwari, he didn't encounter smart players in terms of Super Sport that made it difficult. The one chance that really beat him was the one that hit the pole. Other than that, he positioned himself well. So 7. Left back, Cross. Cross has the same problem I've been saying over and over again. I'm going to give him a 6 for a very specific reason. He's good. He's strong. Cross is strong. He has everything that needs to have. It's just that he doesn't have the pace. Luckily for us, they didn't really put someone too speedy on the right. This time they were actually fighting Frostler's side most of the time. But in Cross's defense is that he did do well when he was called upon, but we also nearly considered the first goal because of him, because he mistimed a kick, and Super Sport got a chance to shoot and they messed it up. Obvious, because that's Super Sport. So next one is Dudley. Didn't really see much of Dudley. He did come about here, and I'm just gonna give him a 6. I didn't see much of him. I didn't see him commanding. It was that kind of game where it was the whole Chiefs team was defending, so you couldn't really highlight too much of Dudley, but when he was called upon, he did what he needed to do. So 6 to 6.5. Miguel the same, 6 to 6.5. But today I'm actually gonna give Miguel a slightly bad rating. I'm going to give him a 6. I know a lot of you will say no, but you should be giving him a 7. His mentality, his leadership. No, Miguel is going to get a suspension soon. I think the guy has about 3 yellow cards, if I'm not mistaken now. He's 1 yellow card away from a suspension. And that's the one thing I don't like about what he's doing. Sometimes he's just giving away very easy yellow cards, and we're going to need him in these games. So a part of me is, that part of him, he just needs to watch his yellow cards. That's the one negative I want to talk about to Miguel. Needs to just be careful about those yellow cards. Right back, Frostler had a decent game as well. I'm going to give him a 6 to 6.5 as well. He also had a decent game. They were pumping his side. His side was exposed heavy, but it's just because his side is outnumbered. That is the only way teams can beat Frostler, is to outnumber him. They make sure good 3 players go to his side. Some players are running behind him. Some players are keeping him occupied. Then it pulls Miguel out of it. Then the person we need to be there is our defensive midfielder in Samkelo Zwane and Matt. But because these guys are not true defensive midfielders, they don't know how to position themselves in a way to press that late run of that striker that's pulling Miguel away. So that's what was killing us, and that is technically how Miguel got his yellow card, because what would happen is that the strikers would sit behind Mad and sit with Abo Miguel. Then Super Sport would kick the ball, like long ball, straight to Abo Miguel. Miguel would get the ball and he would have to now challenge with this guy playing him like this, and Miguel is behind, and Miguel is trying to put his leg to try kick the ball, and that's how they got him. Oh, Vincent Pule turned. As he was going, Miguel pulled him yellow card. So those are the kind of things. Let me make it quick. Samkelo Zwane, I'm going to give a 7 as well. I am going to give her a 7 because there's a lot of improvement, but there's a lot of good things that Samkelo did in this game that it shows his improvement as a player. And I want to highlight something to people. The reason why I said yesterday I think he had one of the man of the match performances is because he did the right things. When he was called upon, he did the right things. Yes, he forgets sometimes and he will kick a pass that's not needed and stuff like that. But today he positioned himself defensively. Yes, he will still improve, but what is expected, the effort you expect from a DM is what he was putting out there. He still technically needs to know how to cover certain positions better. He still needs to know how to move off the ball sometimes, just to open a bit of space, because as a DM you need to know how to open space to see the game, how to open space for people to be scared for you to have the ball, you know. So those things. Matt, I'm going to give a 2. I'm not. Yesterday I said Matt scoring makes us want to give him a high rating. I'm going to give him a 2. In his position, he was bad, but because he scored a goal, people are going to expect me to give him a 6 and a 7. No, guys, Matt was poor yesterday. Matt was very poor. I didn't enjoy watching him at all. He gave the ball away. He was just terrible to watch. It's like the only 2 good things Matt did in this game for us. He did 2 wonderful things for us in this game. He scored the goal and he got substituted. That is the only 2 things, because in the first half, I will not lie when I say this, Matt as our captain was the worst player for Kaizer Chiefs. There is no other player in this team that played as bad as Matt. And that is my opinion. Judge me by my opinion. I have nothing against Matt. I like his hardworking ways. I like what he is. I like his determination as a player. But you know what Matt reminds me of? He reminds me of Bernard Parker in the days when he was starting to annoy us. When he was no longer a striker, he couldn't score goals. So they started putting him in the midfield because he was the hard-working player. Bernard Parker used to run for days, and that is why coaches like Stuart Baxter kept putting him in the team, because they could rely on him on his work rate. He was working harder than players like Amakhosi and that's why Stuart Baxter would bench Amakhosi to put Bernard Parker. And that's the same thing that's happening now. Matt is the hardest working cheese player. No one can tell me anyway. There's no one other player who's more hardworking than Matt. But he's poor in what he delivers. So it's a catch-22. We have a player who stops us from playing, but he's a player who also stops the opponents from playing. Because Matt does a lot of good things to stop SuperSport from dictating sometimes. He would disrupt plays just by being there. Whereas we saw Samkelo Zwane, sometimes SuperSport can play around him because Samkelo Zwane is not there and he doesn't have that pace. He has the strength, but he doesn't have the pace to cover certain distances. So that's what I'm talking about there. Matt 2, I'm going to give him a 2. Next one, Sirino. I'm going to give a 7 as well. He scored a goal. He was influential in the attack, but he was not the best player on the pitch. I don't think he was the best player on the pitch. So I said Samkelo 7, Sirino 7 as well. Sirino, not his best game. He got man of the match, yes, because when it mattered most, he showed up, but it wasn't his best game. First half, Sirino was doing uncharacteristic things, losing the ball. They would pass him on the right, he would try to trap it, the ball goes out. He would try to pass, he passes the wrong player. So I'm not going to give a rating just based on the fact that he scored, but I also have to give a rating on his game. So I'm just going to say he was a 7. If I want to be negative, I'll say he was a 6 because that was his only contribution, the goal. But I'm saying 7 because he did open the game for the team at some point. And that was only after the 30th minute. He started showing up in the game. But even in his showing up, he wasn't fully himself. Dusha Balala 7. The one thing I like about him too is that he makes everyone play once he's waking up. When he wakes up, he passes the right people, he passes them on time, he makes the right runs. Mdu was part of almost every attack that resulted in the goal just because he avails himself and he makes the right plays. Mdu is becoming that player who is becoming the link between Sirino, the link between the defenders, the link between the strikers. He is the one who's supporting Ranga Chivavero. He's the one who's also helping Ranga Chivavero mark close down players up front. He's doing a lot of little important things in the game. So that's why I'm going to give him to Shabalala 7. The next player is Duba. Duba, work rate 100%, 7. He had one of his best games for Chiefs. He was providing assists. He was doing a lot of good things. But the one thing that Duba just needs to, you know what, I can't fault him for this game. He was defending a lot and he was creating assists. The players just didn't score. Oh, the one thing I can fault him about, missing a tap in. Come on. Daily bread, bro. Daily bread. Ranga Chivavero, he's gonna get a 5. Yes, he scored a goal. He did score, but on a tough, but he missed 2 clear-cut chances. 2 tap in, 2 very easy chances. A free header and basically a one-on-one. He eventually scored, but you must remember we were winning 2-0 at that moment. SuperSport wasn't creating deadly chances. They were just putting pressure. So SuperSport was the team that put pressure in the right areas, but they weren't really threatening. So that's how I'll put it in that way. So that's why I'm going to give him a 5. Nabi, I have never given Nabi a rating, but today I'm going to give him a rating. I want to give Nabi a rating of 9 because of how he changed the tactics to start countering this negative football of SuperSport. Let me jump quickly to why I say SuperSport won't be the same team. SuperSport is not going to be the same team because Gavin Hunt was very clear. In a cup game, it's all about winning. It's not about how you win. No one must go there and say, we nigga so, or you win like this. It's not very nice. It's about winning. And so Gavin Hunt was like that. He went into the game and said, we're going to pump the ball. Pump, pump, pump. Corner is a goal. Throw in is a goal. If we have a free kick halfway line, we are kicking to the box. That is Gavin Hunt's strategy because he understood what it was that about. Because number one, Tashreeq Matthews just joined SuperSport now. There's not much they can. He doesn't even know what they're training, how they play. So it was just about pumping the ball. But that may change throughout the week because when you get to the league, you have the license to play your own game. A win is not necessary, so you can kind of approach the game a bit differently. Meaning that Gavin Hunt is a very simple coach. When he plays Chiefs, Pirates, Sundowns in the league, he's playing them for a draw. He just wants a draw from those teams. If they get a win, good. Which means that he's more likely to play. But when he plays in a cup, he wants to make sure he wins. So he'll play this anti-football, stop you from playing and just pump the ball, increase the number of chances. So what I'm expecting of SuperSport is that they're going to be more ball playing. So we're going to see a lot more Vincent Poole and Rovo. We're going to see a lot more of Neo Rapport running, a lot of combinations, a lot of Pool. This was going to be a game where we will even see a Pool starting in the game. So that's what I expect from the game. But other than that, I want to end this video by saying this. Guys, our first half was not great. We still have to fix our first half. We need to be able to adjust to a team earlier. SuperSport, we took too long to start playing. And for me, it's a worry because had SuperSport gotten 2 goals, it was going to be an uphill battle for us to now figure out how to beat them. So that's why I'm like, we took too long to adjust, but it's also a player thing. It's a player mentality. The players allowed SuperSport to do the dumb tricks of not playing football because SuperSport was clear. Foul them when they start playing, and then when they're not playing, we pump the ball in the box. That is SuperSport. But the players allowed it to happen. Abom was the only player who looked like he was positive. The other players seemed rattled. Like Sirino would lose the ball, Matt would lose the ball, Samkelo Zohane would lose the ball. Duba sometimes was just too deep. He couldn't join up play. So it was just they were overwhelmed by the anti-football SuperSport was playing. And then the last thing I'm going to highlight is Ntwari. Ntwari needs to pick up his socks. Teams are going to spot that he's not comfortable with certain shots, and they're going to start doing the thing where they take a shot, but they always have a player following up because he fumbles the ball. So they're going to have people always ready to pounce on his fumbled balls. Because right now, when he fumbles, and the other team is not aware that Ntwari fumbles. But now what's going to happen? They're going to pump a ball. They're going to pump shots at Ntwari. Ntwari is going to catch, drop, players, they score. Catch, drop, players, they score. So he needs to clean up his handling. That is what I'm saying. And his distribution, like how I pointed out yesterday. But other than that, that's all I have for today. Amakhosi for life. There's a lot of work that still needs to happen at Chiefs. I like what they're doing at Samkelo Zwane. My only question is what's happening with Njabulo Blom. I want to see more of Njabulo Blom. I want to see more of Castillo. I understand he was a bit jet lagged from his trip to South America. So I feel the DM position is still a question mark. Big question mark DM, because we're still not Mnandi there. I think the most Mnandi combination there may actually be a combination of Castillo and Blom, or a combination of Blom and Samkelo Zwane. That's what I think. But anyway, tell me what you guys think. I'm a for life.